Hey, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, or at least I can.
Yay, excellent. I was muted for a while there, but I figured it out. I need to go to my office and get some stuff. I've been saying that since June. I haven't gone and gotten it yet. Somehow I figure out how I don't need it, but I actually probably do need it. So I'll go sometime. Probably before 2:57. Maybe I'll go on spring break. That's what I'll do. Yeah, it'll be so exciting to go to my office. I haven't seen in so long. And maybe I'll just pick up my refrigerator from my house and bring it home and put it under my desk here. It's a little depressing. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to put up a little warm up for you guys to just think about. I don't need you to compute things. I just want you to kind of look at it and think about what difficulties you might have with it. And the pattern block sheet that you might want, where you have to record your answers for the activity we're doing today, I'm going to put it in the chat for you. So you'll want to make a copy of this Google Slides. So make a copy of that Google Slides. This is an assignment on Canvas that you're going to start today. Hopefully you get through quite a bit of it, but we'll see how it goes. And then you probably want, I know you will need access to these pattern blocks. And when you're in your teams, you guys can divide and conquer, right? Like not everybody has to have everything open at the same time. Oh, and we are sharing shirts today too. If anybody has a shirt they want to share. Or a jacket because you're freezing, or a sweatshirt. or whatever you want. I went on a walk this morning thinking it was going to be warm, and my hands about froze off. Yeah, because I'm a baby. It's true. I think it was chilly this morning. I don't think it was all me being a baby. I'm getting caught up on grading. Have you noticed how close I'm getting? Yeah, and then you guys turn in a bunch more stuff. So yeah, I know that's my bad. I assigned it, so I get it. Okay, so for those of you who just got here, I know the chat starts without you, so I'm putting it all back in the chat. You need a copy of the Google Slides, and you need to access the pattern blocks. If you've already done that, pretend you didn't just see that again.
I'm logging off and joining from my laptop because it finally connected to Wi-Fi. So that.
Okay. Are you guys seeing my screen? Yeah, good. Making sure. I'm telling you, sometimes it goes a long time and nobody tells me I'm not. So what you should be doing now is just looking at that fraction warm up, not in Teams, obviously. I mean, if you want to chat with your teammate, you can. But it just says name using the illustration as is, meaning don't do anything, right? Don't do anything crazy or anything. Just look at it. And name the fractional part when shaded. Explain your reasoning and identify any dilemmas you have. So if you don't want to use the picture as is, think about what's wrong, what's troubling you. Okay, I'll give you about 2 minutes to think of that, and then we'll share shirts. Tyler, I don't know what your shirt means, but I'm hoping you'll share it. I can't even read it, but I'm just saying. Mine's not super exciting today. And then if you don't have the docs that I put in the chat, make sure you ask for them. So there's two things in the chat. One is the Google Slides that you should make a copy of. This is the home investigating the unit activity that you're going to complete. We probably won't finish it today. And then the other one is the pattern blocks that are virtual pattern blocks. These are real pattern blocks right here. But so if you happen to be in the classroom and you have real pattern blocks sitting next to you, grab them. If you don't, then we'll just use the virtual ones. I got you, Karina. There you go.
Would you like us to keep the numbers in front of our names, even though we're in different groups now?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, because I'm probably going to put you back in those groups at some point. So.
Okay, cool. I'll keep it then.
Yeah, we don't need to go too crazy.
And I don't have a link as well. For something.
Oh, well, I just texted everybody in the waiting room, which I don't even know who's in the waiting room and why I would send it to anybody in the waiting room. So sorry about that if I sent it to nobody, Karina. I don't know if I sent it to everybody in the waiting room, but that was not my intention. Okay, so while you're getting all those docs, let's talk about these three pictures that you have here. So picture A, picture B, and picture C. Anyone want to say anything about any of them? Wow, you guys are quiet.
Well, number A, letter A, seems fairly self-explanatory. You count the total number of boxes, which is 16. You count the shaded number of boxes, which is 4. So we have 4 out of 16. Simplified would be 1/4.
Anybody agree with Hannah, Miles? Yeah, a couple of you. Excellent. I see some thumbs up there. Okay, so let's talk about picture B and C. Anything troubling anyone?
So my trouble is that the boxes on the units are uneven. So does each shaded box actually have a different value depending on their size?
Ah, anyone else having that same dilemma? Yeah, it's troubling. What do you think kids would do?
Wouldn't they just say it's 2/5, but they wouldn't realize that that they're not equal parts, so they would just count it as 2/5.
Yeah, that's a huge, important part of foundations of fractions, is knowing that these are equal sized parts, right? We can't call them fifths if they're not all the same size, right? So that's important. Now, some of you are like, ooh, but I could do this, right? Ooh, but I could do this. That's totally fine. I don't want you to do it yet. Okay, that's not what we're talking about quite yet. So, yeah, and I like how Karen was saying, wait a minute, I'm not sure, maybe it's 1/2 plus 1/3, but I want you to think about that carefully, because that's 1/2 of the top row. Is it 1/2 of the whole figure? Yeah, so you have to be careful. If you do 1/2 plus 1/3, is it going to work? Yeah, probably not. So be careful. Karina, are you signed into your Maricopa email account? That might be the problem. Yeah. Is anyone else having trouble copying the slides? Everybody else was fine?
You just go to File, and then underneath File, there should be an option to make a copy, and you just press Make a Copy. That's how I did mine.
Oh, good. Karina said it worked, so we're good. Okay. So this is a document that you're going to be using for this assignment, and you're going to save it as a PDF and upload it when it's finally done. But some of you might go through this more than one time, okay? Just so you know. Some of you will be done today, but many of you will not, or you need to revisit it. So we're going to talk about the meaning of fractions again, and we're going to talk about the meaning of the unit specifically. So this is what the document kind of looks like. There's a paper version of the document as well. So if you wanted to do the paper version of the document, you totally could. No worries. But I think it's not too bad in this Google Slides to do it. First thing I want to do is just familiarize ourselves with the blocks, okay, the pattern blocks. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. So there's a particular reason I use pattern blocks. And the reason is, you remember that part whole idea? You guys love the part whole idea. That's why you love circle pieces, right? When you do circle fraction pieces. But we're going to talk about pattern blocks because this really breaks your part whole model very nicely. And then I'll break it again with circle pieces. But I forgot we were going to share a t-shirt. Tyler, your shirt?
I don't know if you can see it very well, so I'm eating lunch too. It says, "Welcome to the Rosebud Motel." I don't know if many people know what that is.
I feel like I'm supposed to, but I have short-term memory loss. So Amanda, what is it?
I forgot what it's called, but it's this one TV show about that family, right?
Yeah, it's from Dan Levy and Eugene Levy. It's called Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, that one.
I hate that show. There you go. That's why I know it. And it's hilarious because my husband loves that show. He's like, let's watch this show together. I did not make it through an episode.
Really?
It is just not my style of humor. So my sister loves it. I don't know what it is. I can't do it.
You can't just judge something based off the first episode though either. You kind of have to like go more into depth, and it gets better as it goes.
Yeah, I would hope so, because like I said, I didn't make it. I have a very poor attention span when it comes to things like that. So it's very weird because I think I have a good sense of humor, but certain things just I'm not a fan of. Do you know the movie The Jerk? Not a fan. Blazing Saddles? I'm a huge fan of Blazing Saddles. So I have a very strange Monty Python. Anyone a Monty Python fan out there?
Huge fan.
Love. I was trying to figure out how old my kids had to be before I could show them Monty Python. We showed it in 8th grade when I taught 8th grade, but we had to have permission slips signed for our kids because it was rated PG. I was like, oh my gosh, Monty Python. I mean, it's a little questionable. It was the Holy Grail that I was showing. Hilarious. But some people hate Monty Python, so I get it. So I'm glad to know the Rosebud, is it motel or hotel?
Motel. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. All right, there we go. Anyone else share a shirt? Karina, usually have one on. Okay, I'm ready, Karina.
Okay, so I've been trying to get more into Star Wars, and I got this shirt for Christmas. It's supposed to like mimic those concert shirts. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah.
Cute.
Very comfy. It's like cotton. It's like my favorite color is red and blue. So yeah.
Nice. I am a Star Wars fan.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll get into it.
I'll try Schitt's Creek again. I'll try.
If that doesn't work out for you, at least have this I can share. I was gonna say.
Oh, see, I like that too.
Day.
Yeah. Okay. Have you watched? Oh my gosh. What is the Kimmy Schmidt show? Why can't I think of the name of that?
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
Yes. Did anyone like that show?
Yeah, huge fan.
Yeah. See? So I kind of have the same sense of humor as some people. Okay, you ready for my shirt? It's not very fun today, but it's still fun. That's it. Pie. Yeah. I know we did a pie shirt before, right? But today, it's just pie. Like it. Okay, good. Let's talk about the pattern blocks. So this is just a hexagon. Yes, everybody knows it's a hexagon. You can see my screen. I'm not dreaming that. Okay, so a yellow hexagon. Now, when I wrote this activity, I don't even know what it looks like now because I've rewritten this so many times. When I first wrote this activity, I had to be very careful because I had visually impaired students. And so I had to rewrite it several times and say, I couldn't just say the yellow piece, right? I had to describe that yellow piece as a hexagon. Then I was nice, it was face-to-face. So I had pattern blocks and DRS put Braille on them. So it was very helpful. So then my student not only could feel the shape and know that it was a six-sided figure, but it was also labeled here with the color it was as well. So if my directions said yellow, they were able to still read that it was a yellow piece. So it's the things you don't think of when you have all of your senses that you have to be very careful if you have a visually impaired or hearing impaired person that you really are addressing all of them. So I have so many versions of this, it's insane. But the Braille on your manipulatives is awesome. So a yellow hexagon. So it's nice because it's a color and it's a shape. We can describe it both ways. And then we have, that's a red trapezoid, okay? We don't really need to worry about geometrically how I know it's a trapezoid because we'll learn that in 257. That's a rhombus, so a blue rhombus, and then a green triangle. Then you might wonder why I have this. It's called a double hex. I don't even know if that little turny boy is going to work with that. I should be able to turn these, but on my iPad, I'm not sure. But it's a double hex. Now, we're going to use these for not only this investigating the unit, but we're going to use it tomorrow for adding and subtracting fractions. So we're going to need these a lot. We're not going to use this, which is normally brown, and it's still a rhombus. So it's just a differently shaped rhombus. And then we have an orange square, but we don't use the orange square and these in my activities just because we don't. So in this activity, the first thing it shows you, it says, okay, you're going to fill these things out. And you could, down the left-hand side of your slides, this is normally paper, it tells you what the unit is. And remember when I say the unit, I say the unit is the whole, okay? So make sure you keep track because it's like you're reading across the row, the left-hand column tells you what the unit is. Then each piece you're saying is what part of the unit, okay? So if you look on that first row, it says, okay, if the yellow hexagon is the unit, then a yellow hexagon, this piece would be 1. This piece would be 1/2 because it takes 2 of them to fit there. You're supposed to be able, there we go. I wonder if it works with my Apple Pencil better. Not really. All right, so since 2 of these make 1 yellow hexagon, 1 red trapezoid is 1/2, and then 1 blue rhombus. I want them to snap in there without me working so hard because I'm not competent in this snapping activity. Hopefully yours are more cooperative than mine are at this moment. All right, so 3 blue rhombuses make 1 yellow hexagon. So 1 blue rhombus must be 1/3 if the yellow hexagon is the unit. Yes? And then 1 green triangle would be 1/6. These snap in a little bit better until I have to turn them. We'll just pretend I put 6 in there because you can see that 6 fit in there. So 1 green triangle must be 1/6. Do you see how that's the first thing you have to enter in that first slide? You see that? Okay, if there's anyone out there who's like, this slide activity is going to kill me, like I can't type in the slide, it's just not my gig, here is a paper copy of the worksheet that you could use, okay? So if you hate the slides, just use the paper copy. It's the same, okay? Okay, so what I'm gonna ask you to do is if you keep going on the slides, it'd be nice if I opened the slides. If you look at the next page on the slides, it shows you that that's where you wrote 1/6 on that last box. The next one, it says, okay, start over. Instead of 1 yellow hexagon being the whole, now 3 yellow hexagons are the whole. Yes? So if 3 yellow hexagons are the whole, what would you put in that first blank right here? In both these blanks, I mean, this is a fraction. So what would you put for 1 yellow hexagon would be what fraction of 3 yellow hexagons? Thanks, Jessica. You're all over it. 1/3. Everybody okay? Okay, now it gets worse, right? Now on the next one, the red trapezoid is the whole. Yeah, so you have to figure the next one out. Then what if the green triangle is the whole? And then you keep going. Oh, you like this one? What if this is the whole? Do you see how I'm trying to break your part-whole relationship here? I'm trying to get you to think a little bit differently. So then, after you do it, we have some challenge ones at the end, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put you in your breakout rooms. you're only with one other person, and poor Sarah's partner is not here, but I'm going to put Sarah with another group. And then after you're struggling for a little bit, I'm going to put you with another pair so you can struggle with somebody else to kind of make sure if you need help. And then I'll bring you back and we'll debrief a couple of them when we're stuck. Yes? Everybody understand what we're supposed to be doing? Yay. Well, we probably won't finish because we're going to do some other things too. Okay, I'm going to open up your breakout room.
Question.
Yeah.
Is this slide available on campus or just in this class right now? Because I'm trying to get it in my tablet.
It's on Canvas. It should be, it's in the assignment.
In the assignments?
Yeah, it should be in the modules under week 6, under the home investigating the unit, and there's a link to it.
Home investigating.
Did you find it?
Oh, exploring the unit.
Yeah.
Okay, found it. Thank you.
Good. I love how some of you are back. You're like, perfect, let's debrief. I'm over this right now. Sydney, I can tell by your face. You do not have a poker face, let me tell you. I would love to play cards with you. You're probably too honest, right, Sydney?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. There's no such thing. So how far did you and Karina get?
Well, we tried all of them to slide 12, but that does not mean we know what we were doing.
That's okay. I appreciate you trying all of them. And did it help when Essay and Alyssa came in?
We did have some of the same answers as them, but they were the same feeling as us.
Well, that's good, right? That's good. So, okay. So first of all, let me preface this by saying, I know that was struggle for some of you. And I know for others of you, you were like, I don't get the struggle, right? We have both in our class. And you're like, who are they? Because I don't like them. It's okay. It's okay. We all think differently and we need all of these brains together because sometimes what comes easy for you in a particular unit is hard in a different unit, right? And you trade places. And that's what you will notice with your students in class. That's why you have to be real careful not to label your students. If you start at the start of a school year and another teacher from another grade goes, ooh, you have Jimmy, good luck. Tell me you haven't heard that. Like, it's true. You will hear it. I promise you. And I used to go like this, la, 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 like, I can't hear you. Whatever happened last year has nothing to do with what's going to happen this year with me, right? And you don't want to have that preconceived notion on a student. But also what teachers don't realize is your expectations of a child come true, right? If you have very low expectations, guess what? That kid's going to do nothing for you. If you have higher expectations, you can work with that student. And some students are very spatially challenged and some students are very spatially gifted. I am not spatially gifted. So the first time I saw this activity, I was like, oh, it hurts. It's giving me a headache right now. I feel it. And other people who were, let's say, not necessarily great with algebra, I was stellar with algebra, right? We're amazing at this shape stuff. And I was like, remember algebra when you didn't know anything? So we all have our strengths and we have to train our brains to think in these different ways. So it's okay no matter what point you got to. Okay. So I'm hoping we got to this slide, right? Can you see my screen? Okay, where the one we ended with, right? How many of you did, I don't think this was next on your sheet, was it? No, next on your sheet was probably this, yes? How many of you got through both of these? And some of you were a little nervous, right? Especially on this line right here, because you had to write 1/1, which seemed odd because it made you write a fraction, right? And then you wrote 2/1 and 3/1 and 6/1, yes? Does this seem accurate? Did anyone write these upside down? Okay.
I just wrote them as 6, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, you just wrote 6, 3, 2, 1. Did anyone do that? If you're working on paper, it might have not led you to write a fraction, but if you're working on the slides, it has a fraction there. Tyler, you were saying you didn't write that. Did you write something else?
You know, no, I was looking at the wrong thing. These are combined for the 2 slides. I was just confused for a second.
Okay. So Sydney, if you wrote this as 1/6 instead of 6/1, first of all, you're not alone, I promise you. But second of all, what happened was you decided to switch which one was the unit, okay? You decided that the hexagon was the unit, but it says the triangle is the unit. The triangle is the whole. So notice that all of these are bigger than the triangle, right? So if a triangle is 1, any shape that's bigger than the triangle is going to be a value that's greater than 1. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, now, I know a lot of you are like, I want to know if I'm right. I want to know if am I right? Some of you are like, I don't even know how I would know if I was right. And some of you are like, I totally know I'm right. I know how it works. I'm going to give you a hint, and you can always visit me in office hours. I have office hours tomorrow night too. We could play around with pattern blocks. A hint that Amanda's room we talked about and Karen we talked about is if you start with the green triangle and figure it out from right to left, it's almost a little bit easier because you can use that green triangle to help you with the rest of it. So for example, if I built this red trapezoid out of green triangles, I can see that it takes 3 green triangles to fill in the 1 red trapezoid. So the green triangle must be 1/3. Yeah. And then some of you are like, oh, but then this doesn't fit there. Right? And I'm like, okay, so I try to build it out of a blue and then I start crying. But remember, you had green triangle. So you could say, how many green triangles make a blue? 2. So if I have, listen carefully to my words, 2 copies of 1/3, what do I actually have? If I have 2 copies of 1/3, because that's what I have here, here's 1 green triangle, here's another green triangle, which make a blue rhombus. So if I have 2 copies of 1/3, what fraction do I have? 2/3. Like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Yeah. Some of you are like, oh, that cleared it up. And some of you are like, no, didn't. You might as well have just poured mud in the water. I don't get it. It's okay. You're going to keep processing it. You can get through it. And then this one's a nice one because it's the same. Or you could think of, did anyone think of 3/3? Yeah, because how many green triangles are here? Well, there's 3 of them. Now, here's the gotcha, right? This piece is bigger than my whole. Yeah? So I'm going to get a number bigger than 1. Yes? Okay. I'm gonna stop there. I know you're crying inside. You're like, wait, what? We're stopping there? We are. You have lots of days to figure this out. You're gonna be processing and processing and processing. Okay? Okay, what we're gonna do now, you have a foldable assignment, video fraction representations, nice assignment. This is what your foldable should look like. I think you have a copy of that. We're going to talk about, you have an assignment on Canvas called fraction rules. Yes? You have an assignment on Canvas called fraction rules. We're going to talk about comparing fractions that in a way that you haven't compared fractions before. We're going to compare fractions and order fractions by common numerators and common denominators. Okay, so this will help you with the fraction ordering, the ordering fractions worksheet. So let me see if I have this that you can see. And you can just play along. You don't have to print this out. You can take notes. You can just live right here. It's fine. I don't want you to be, oh my gosh, I have so many windows open. I have so much going on. Like, I don't want you thinking about that. I want you just really thinking about the mathematics that we're doing. Okay. So I'm going to put this so I can write on it. And you guys are going to talk me through it. There's a lot of slides explaining this, but you know, we don't have to worry about it right now. Okay. So this is the ordering fractions activity that you're going to get credit for just for paying attention right now and participating. Okay. Okay. So it says plot these fractions on a number line, and there's the fractions 5, 6, -3, 6, 1, 6, 2, 6, and -1, 6. Now, all of those have something in common. What is it?
Denominator is 6.
Yeah, the denominator is 6. That makes it really nice because that means all the pieces are the same size, right? All the pieces are the same size. So we're just going to number this number line. I know you could do this 1, 6, 2, 6, or you can just write 2/3 if you want, just for fun. 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, and then notice this is 6, 6. Now, believe it or not, the struggle begins on the left side of 0. What is this first tick mark named?
-1, 6?
Yeah, -1, 6. Have you ever seen a kid go down here and label it -1, 6, -2, 6? If you've never seen this, you will. Okay, so be careful. -2, 6, -3, 6, -4, 6, -5, 6, and this would be -6, 6. If you have a student that does that, you might want to refresh a number line in general. Remember when we were doing whole numbers and we were decomposing and recomposing and we were using the number line to help us? And I told you in that one video, it's messed up because she goes like this and she starts with her larger number over here. And yeah, don't do it. That messes with kids' minds. Some of you probably had that where you had your number line reversed. Yeah, where you wrote it reversed. So we don't want to do that because that messes with our brain, especially our rule of whichever's further to the right is larger. So, and you can help a kid once they understand the number line is, do you notice if we were just looking at our numerators without our denominators, it would look just like a whole number line because it would go -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so we're not changing the rules. We're just adding smaller pieces. Okay, so then we put all the dots on there. We're good. You know how to do this. Oh, or you could use your eraser and erase them all. So 5, 6, -3, 6, 1, 6, 2, 6, and -1, 6. Now, some of you, it's hurting you to hear 2/6 or 3/6 because you had a teacher that said, don't ever do that. Simplify your fractions. When we're looking at ordering, it helps our brain if we don't simplify those fractions. Okay, so bear with me and kind of open your minds up to, it's okay if things aren't simplified. If you ever had a teacher where you wrote the answer as 3/6 and they just counted it all wrong, even though the correct answer was 1/2, that was mean. Because mathematically, those are the same value. They occupy the same location on a number line. They should not have marked that wrong. They can say it wasn't simplified, right? They can take off points for it, but they shouldn't mark it completely wrong because it is right. Yeah? Do you remember the exploding dots video? Did James Tanton talk about like 11-teen and things like that? When we can say numbers incorrectly, it's just, it means the right thing. So be careful. I know that you're all about attending to precision, and I appreciate that, but that is precise. 3/6 is precisely 1/2. Okay. Okay. So what's nice about this is when I have common denominators, I can just order them least to greatest by following my number line from left to right. Yeah. So a general rule for ordering fractions with the same denominator. What do? If fractions have the same denominator, what do we look at to decide which fractions are bigger, which fractions are smaller?
Look at the order of the numerator.
Okay, look at the numerators. And then how do I know if it's bigger or smaller?
The greater the value away from 0.
Be careful.
Well, the larger the, well, we have to distinguish between negative and positive, but the larger the numerator of the positive fraction, the larger the number, the larger the numerator of the negative number, the smaller the fraction.
Yeah, it gets a little messy with negatives in there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right? It gets a little messy with the negatives in there. Now, let's go back to our copies of idea. Yeah, can we play with copies of again? If I see this number, that is 5 copies of 1/6, right? Well, 5 copies of 1/6 must be bigger than 3 copies of 1/6 because I have more copies. Yeah, and 5 copies of 1/6 must be bigger than -5 copies of 1/6 because -5 copies sounds bad, right? That sounds far away. That sounds in the wrong direction. So Hannah was exactly right when she said the larger the numerator or the greater the number of copies, the greater the fraction, given the denominators are the same. Do you agree? All right, good. Now, I'm going to skip this one. You could do it. It's a fun activity. It will help you with some things. Just put thirds on this line, put fifths on this line, and put eighths on this line. And then it makes it real easy to order least to greatest. I just don't want to run out of time. If we have time, I'll go back to that one. If not, we'll start it for warm up tomorrow. The one I want to look at is this one. Because common denominators was something that you already knew. Has anyone compared fractions with common numerators before? Amanda has. Okay, by the way, I just found out Amanda's a math tutor. Like that's a job of hers. So if you're wondering why Amanda knows things, that might be why she knows things. So it's okay. If you feel like Amanda's a genius, it's good, right? That's okay. It's good. Amanda's been exposed to a lot of things, and she said she didn't learn that in high school, right? I mean, in elementary school. You learned it later in high school. Yeah. So everybody can learn it. Doesn't matter. I didn't learn most of this stuff till college, just so you know. So just like you. Okay. So let's think of our copies of. So if this is 3 copies of 1/65th, and this is 3 copies of 1/5. Now I can't use my rule that I use with common denominators. I can't say, oh, the more number of copies, then the greater the fraction. Because now I have the same amount of copies. So what's different when we have common numerators? Okay, Amanda can't answer, Hannah can't, Hannah M can't answer. Here's what I'm saying. I'm giving you credit for this activity. You need to participate right now. Okay, so tell me what's different in this.
The denominator? No?
Yeah, thanks. Bethel's like, I'm going out on a limb here, but I'm pretty sure the bottom numbers are different, right? Good job. You're right, Bethel. Yeah, the denominators are different. So what that means is the size of the copy is different, not the number of copies. Now it's the size of the copy. Okay, remember before we had the same size copies, but we had different numbers of them. Now we have the same number of copies, but our copies are different sizes. I want you to think about that unit that we were just talking about. If we look at 1/65th compared to 1/5, which one's bigger?
1/5.
Yeah, 1/5 is bigger. Why? Why is 1/5 bigger? And Hannah L wrote in the chat, the larger the denominator is the smaller the fraction. Why?
Well, if you just think of a pizza size, that's all the same sizes of a circle. 65 pieces of that same pizza size are going to be smaller than 5 slices of that.
Nice. And we love pizza. So that's always a fun combination. I can't draw circles, so I don't use pizzas. I use rectangles or fraction bars. Now, here's my favorite part with kids. Let's say they're trying to justify this to you, right? And they're using fraction bars. So they say, here's my whole, here's my unit, and I'm going to split it into 4 pieces. Sorry, 5 pieces using 4 lines. So there's my 5th. Yeah, we all agree? And then they try to show you that 65ths are smaller. And they go like this. And then they start doing this. What's wrong with this model?
The new unit's larger.
Yeah, the new unit's bigger. If it's a unit, it's a unit, it's a unit. They have to be the same size. So they need to make this rectangle the same length as this rectangle to show it's still the unit. Now, this is going to be hard to split into 65 pieces, right? Because what is 5 times what gives me 65? Is it 13? So if I took this same 5th, I would have to split this into 13 pieces. You see them? Yeah. Did you see them? They were perfect. Okay, good. So this can show you, oh, 1/65th is much smaller than 1/5. So if I have 3 copies of both of them, well, 3 copies of 1/5 must be larger than 3 copies of 1/65th. Yeah? Are you wondering why you never used common numerators? Why didn't your teacher use common numerators? It's nice, right? So 1/65th, and Kelsey just put, because it's closer to 1, I'm guessing you meant 3/5, right? 3/5 is closer to 1, okay? Because it's 2/5 away from 1, whereas this one is 2/65 away, is 62 65ths away from 1, right? So you can compare closer to 1, but you have to give me a reason, right? Like a mathematical justification. So now you should be able to compare all these, right? So I want you to think of your general rule for ordering fractions with common denominators. If they, I just said common denominators, but I meant common numerators. Thank you, Hannah, for your face, because you helped me remember that I was not saying the right thing. And I appreciate Sydney's laugh at me every time. Love it. Thanks, Sydney. Okay, so what's your rule for if they have common numerators? How do you tell the bigger fraction? Formulate your words, get it ready in the chat. We're doing a 3, 2, 1. This is what's going to earn you your points on your worksheet. So what is your rule for comparing fractions with common numerators? Yes, we can't look at the numerator because they're the same. That's the point. Okay, get it ready. Don't hit enter yet. Okay, you look ready. Are you ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Read through everybody's once they pop up. My chat is lost in my breakout room. So read through them and see whose you like, because you have an assignment that you have to do this on. So you might as well just take their words. It's called plagiarism, or it's called collaborative learning in our classroom right now. Okay, and then you're going to quote like, ooh, I really like Amanda's, right? Or think about how a kid would write it, right? If the numerator is the same, I look at the denominator. The smaller the denominator, the larger the size of the copies, meaning the larger the fraction. Yeah. So make sure you're very specific. I didn't even notice, Evelyn, that you sent it directly to me. I see it now.
Do you see it? Okay, I was just going to ask if you wanted me to resend it to everyone.
No, I'll
Or is
send it to
okay?
everybody. You're good.
Okay. I know I just had it on your name and I was like, oh, I just sent it to her, but.
Yeah. Okay. So I know that was very brief and we have a lot going on. Your extra ticket's very short. Go through the rest of the slides. This is the fraction rule assignment I was telling you about. So don't worry about the ordering fractions activity. I'm going to give you credit for that. Now you can complete your investigating the unit. Some of you are going to have to investigate for a while. Some of you are going to have to investigate with me, right? Or with your partners, or all of the above. And then you can do your fraction rules activity. We'll do some of this tomorrow. I don't know if you looked at the slides for Thursday, but I'm like, whatever we didn't finish Wednesday, that's what we're doing Thursday. So I already know that some of this will slide into other days. So I just listed all the assignments. I'll put your exit ticket in the chat. And then once you're done with your exit ticket, you can go. And I'll be here for a few more minutes if you need to debrief something with me. Have a great Tuesday.
I have a question. So I was looking at the quiz that I think is due Monday or Sunday.
Okay. Like the week for the quiz?
Yeah. I think, I'm not sure, I could be wrong, but I wanted to start it just to get it, like, see what kind of knowledge I had. But I think one of them, I'm not sure if it's missing a picture or because
Let me look.
when I opened it, it's asking a specific question, but I don't know if there's needs to be a picture for that question or not. So I just
Do you
didn't.
know which number it was?
I want to say it's the last question.
So the last question just says, if the double hex is a unit, what fraction is the red trapezoid?
Oh,
So
okay.
there's no picture on that one. But let me know if you're missing something on there, you know?
Okay, I'll take a look, and if not, I'll just email me.
Okay, perfect. No worries. Correct, Jessica.
Just for the sake of clarification, because I had one of those teachers growing up where simplification, if you didn't simplify, you were brought back in class the next day, and like, yeah, it was a rough time. So necessarily, like, you don't necessarily have to simplify then, like, as far as with this section, or is there something like just down the road where that kind of comes into more play?
So when you first introduce fractions, you definitely just want them exploring that idea, right? And you don't want to hammer on simplifying, because sometimes simplifying makes things muddier than clearer, especially when we're just formulating our conceptual information. In more is going to mark you wrong if you're not simplified, because it's a computer, right? It doesn't understand that. On my assignments, if I do not specify that you need to simplify, I should accept any answer. If I want it simplified, I will tell you, and I usually give a lot of credit, even if you don't simplify. And then I just say, oops, simplify. So does that help?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so specifically like in more, make sure I simplify, but any assignments that you give that don't specify simplification, I don't necessarily have to worry about it. I just, like I said, it's kind of one of those things where it's like trauma beaten into you where you have to simplify or it's wrong no matter what.
Yeah, and isn't that horrible? Because mathematically you had the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
You just forgot to conform to our agreement that you need to simplify. But there was nothing wrong with your answer. So, and that is a hard lesson for math teachers to get over, and to realize that they were actually teaching something bad when they probably didn't mean to. So now teachers, at least in the beginning of fraction exploration, should be much more accepting into, if it's an equivalent answer, it's fine, especially if we did not specify. And then once students have fraction understanding down, then you can start a fraction simplification concept and make it more, then you're really attending to precision and, you know, formulating an algorithm instead of a conceptual understanding. Right now we're in conceptual understanding. And when we're in conceptual understanding, all bets are off. If you say 3/6 and Vanessa says 4/8, you're both right. So we're good.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yep. Anyone else have questions?
I had a question about the home activity.
Yeah.
For the slide 9.
Let me get back there so I can see. Okay, slide 9. I'm ready.
I'm kind of confused still on how to.
Okay, well, we were working on this, and you were down at 1/9, right, for the green triangle?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you to struggle through that and try to build it with the pattern blocks. So for example, if we look, if I start over here, this is my unit, right? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my unit. And so the reason I know that my green triangle is 1/9 is because if I filled this, whoops, sorry. Well, that was stupid. I don't know where that green triangle came from. Pretend that one's not there, the one that's underneath that you can't see. Okay, if I built this all out of green triangles, pretend they're all green now. There's 9 of them, right? So one green triangle would be 1/9. Do you agree with that, Cal?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So now, if I look at a blue rhombus compared to a green triangle, how many green triangles make up one blue rhombus?
2/9.
2. So it's going to be 2/9. Excellent. So now, if I look at a red trapezoid, how many green triangles fit in a red trapezoid?
3.
3. So it's going to be 3 out of, we know how many fit in our whole unit?
So 3/9.
Yeah, so 3/9. Good job, Brianna. Kelsey, does that make sense? 3/9?
So then for the hexagon, we would do the same thing. So since there's what was it? 6 triangles in a hexagon, right? I
Yep.
mean 6 triangles in a hexagon, and then there's 3 in a trapezoid. So 6, 9, right? 9 triangles fit into both. So would it be
9/9?
9/9?
How many fit in a yellow hexagon?
6/9.
6/9. So it'd be 6/9. Now,
Okay.
I want to show you this too. If we look at our unit this way, that's what our unit looks like, right? What if I build my unit out of just, sorry, let me turn this guy around if I can. What if I built my unit out of just red trapezoids? How many red trapezoids are there?
3.
There's 3 red trapezoids. So now if a yellow hexagon is 2 red trapezoids, it's 2 out of 3. Is 2 out of 3 the same as 6 out of 9?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Could have been, so it could have
it
been
is.
2/3 or 6/9.
You got it.
I have another question.
Yeah,
So-
hold on one sec. Kelsey, does that help?
Yes, I didn't know you were talking to me. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. We were talking to everybody, but it was your question, so I wanted to make sure that you understood. So we got 1/9 for the green triangle, 2/9 for the blue rhombus, 3/9 for the red trapezoid, which is also, you can see it right here, 1/3, right? And 6/9 for the yellow hexagon, which is also 2/3, and you could write either one in. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay, so now Vanessa, I'm ready for your question.
So back to the first one where it was just a triangle. So on the first, just the triangle, the first one, I believe it's the first on the first page or on the first slide.
Slide 8.
Oh, slide 8.
This one?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I guess it's kind of like how we did the one with the hexagon and the trapezoid. Me and Betty had done it the way where it was the hexagon, which was 6/1. And then
6/1 is perfect.
Yeah, and then 3/1 for the trapezoid and so on and so forth. But the way Hannah did it kind of confused me because she was in our second time in our group. So I know it represents the same thing because she did 36 out of 6 for the first one.
I wonder why she did 36.
Yeah, well, she did 36 out of 6, and then for the trapezoid, she did 18/6. And then for the rhombus, 12/6. But she was saying something about the denominator being the same. And she was just looking back at the first ones that we had done, but I was just I guess it just threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, don't worry about that. If you understood your way, I didn't hear Hannah's explanation, so I could go over it with Hannah too.
Okay. Yeah, I was just like curious, like I was trying to understand it that way, but I was
Yeah,
like,
I don't know where we would get 36 from.
okay. I just wanted to make sure if there was a way I could
Yeah, because
get that.
I would have just written 1 for my green triangle, and then I would have just written from left to right. I would have just written 6, 3, 2, 1. I wouldn't have written fractions at all.
I was partners with Hannah, and I understood how she said it, but I was kind of getting confused of the way she was saying it. I thought it was going to be just 6/1.
Yeah, and she might have been seeing it correctly. I'm just, without that explanation, I'm not sure.
Okay, I just wanted to see if I could get an explanation as to why, but I'll
Well,
just.
we'll ask Hannah. We'll ask Hannah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions?
So for like the next one on slide 11, do we just go off of the triangle and then just keep going up?
I think that's the easiest thing to do.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I
So
was getting,
Brianna, what would the triangle be in that one?
3, 4. Oh.
1, 2, 3, yeah, 4.
So you wrote, for what fraction did you write there?
Would it be 1/4?
You got it, 1/4. And then just work your way to the left. That's the easiest way to do it, in my opinion.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, good job. Excellent. Anything else?
I have a question on 12.
Yeah.
I'm like totally confused on it.
Okay, so build it out of triangles. How many triangles make up that shape?
Five.
Okay, so 5 triangles make up that shape. So 1 triangle is what part of that?
I don't know.
So if you have, let's look at the manipulative again. And let's say we have, what is that picture? This and this, right? And let me see. So you agree that there's a total of 5 triangles in here, right?
Yeah.
So if I want to say what fractional part is 1 triangle compared to 5 triangles, what would I write for my fraction?
One-fifth.
Is it 5 triangles there? Wait, what, did I do the wrong picture? I did the wrong picture. Why aren't you telling me I did the wrong picture, Kelsey? Okay,
Sorry,
there we go.
Like making it out of triangles, so.
There you go. There's 5 of them, right, in there. So if you have 1 triangle, it's 1 out of 5, so 1/5.
Mm-hmm.
So what if you have, what's a blue rhombus then?
2/5.
Very nice. 2/5.
I
And
think
then
hang of it now.
Yay!
Like, the way with the how we are doing it with the triangles, I think I just finished the homework.
Yay! Yay!
Yay. Okay. I'm excited.
Because now it makes sense. And then if you look at a red trapezoid, how many green triangles is a red trapezoid?
3.
3. So our fraction would be 3/5. And now how about this one? Because this one's a little bit harder.
6.
Notice that the yellow hexagon is bigger than my unit. Yes? So it should be bigger than a whole. So how many triangles make up the hexagon?
6.
6.
6. So what's my fraction? Don't say it out loud. Don't say it out loud. Everybody think about it for just a minute. Kelsey, did you figure it out?
Yeah.
Okay, now everybody say it out loud.
For just the hexagon?
Yeah, for the hexagon compared to the unit.
For the hexagon compared to which unit?
The same one we're on, the blue and red together.
6/5. That's what I
6/5. Yay, 6/5. Right? 6 copies of 1/5.
Yes. Yay, okay.
Got it.
I feel good now.
Yay. You feel good, Brianna?
Yeah. After you
Okay.
just go off of the triangles and made it easier to understand.
How about you, Kelsey?
Yeah, it makes sense now.
Excellent. Okay, work your way through it, right? Make sure it makes sense tomorrow. Because sometimes it only makes sense today, right? Okay.
Okay, thank you. See you tomorrow.
Bye, Vanessa. Kelsey, did you have one more question? Sorry.
No, I'm good.
Oh, good. Brianna, you do okay? Oh, Brianna's gone. Excellent. Okay, good job. Nice questions.
All right, see you later.
See you tomorrow.